Good morning, children. In the last class, we had discussed about clearly about what is physical change and what are chemical changes. As we know that what are physical change, can you tell me now? Yes, there is a change in the physical properties only, and where there is no formation of new substances. For example, as we had learned clearly about one more example I am giving here, tearing of paper. It is considered as which change, children? Physical change. What about the water is converted into an ice cubes, or ice is converted into water form? What is change here? It is also an physical change. So here we had learned clearly about that there is no new substance are formed and there is a change in physical properties, whereas in the case of chemical changes there is a formation of a new substances. For example, if you burn this paper, what we'll see after some time? Very good, we will see that there is a formation of an ash. As well as when we respire, when we go under the process of respiration, we inhale oxygen and we releases carbon dioxide. So here also there is a formation of a new substances. We had learned in the last class where we had seen that in case of physical changes there is a change in only the physical properties. That is, there is a change in size, shape, as well as appearance or state. Whereas in the case of chemical changes, we had seen this that there is a formation of a new substances. That is, there is change in chemical properties. For example, ripening of fruits, fermentation of grapes into wine to form a wines, as well as digestion of food. All this process will take place due to the series of chemical changes. Imagine that if we stop the process of chemical changes only in our day life, if think it for a while, can we live without the process of chemical changes in our day-to-day life? No, not at all possible. As you can say, one of the example here, process of digestion, it comes under chemical change. If digestion will not take place, can we live here? No. So all these processes are very important. As we can say clearly by this, the chemical changes in our day-to-day life is very important, where which leads to the formation of new substances. Children, I have a doubt that does in chemical change only we see that there is a change in chemical properties only? That is, do we observe any other changes here? Recall the activities what we have done. Very good. Not only there is a formation of a new substances, along with that chemical changes are accompanied by one or more new following characters. Let us learn it in detail, where in this module you are going to learn about further in detail about the chemical changes and what is the differences between physical and chemical changes, and you are going to learn about how the rusting can be prevented and what is meant by galvanization and crystallization process. As I said that in case of chemical changes, not only new substances are formed, it is accompanied by new other substances also. For example, when we talk about the activity, do you all remember the activity of burning of magnesium ribbon? What do we observe, children? Very good. We observe that in case of burning of magnesium ribbon, it will produce as a dazzling white light. How does it light is produced? When it is burns. In this case, the heat is produced in the form of light. Whereas in the case of crackers, when you burn the crackers, as well as when you burn the papers, what will happen? It will produces, in case of crackers, it produces the sound and it will produces the light. Here in this case, the heat is evolved in the form of light, and along with that we hear the sound also, and along with that we see that there is an evolution of gas which will pollute to the environment. That is the reason we will suggest our children or friends to not to burn a lot of crackers which will pollute to the environment. Why it is happening? Because of chemical change. When the chemical change will take place, it will burns, it leads to the producing of gases. Whereas in the case of papers, when you burn it out, what is happening? The heat is evolved, right? in the form of light or flame, the heat is evolved and new products are formed. Now we come to know in this activity, what do we come to know here? In these cases, three cases, what do we observe? That we observe that there is an evolution of heat, sound, as well as we had seen that evolution of gases, that is producing of an gas, right? Now when we keep the food outside, that is in open place, what will happen here? The food get spoiled and it produces foul smell. Children, shall we call this change as a chemical or physical change? It is an chemical change. Why we are considering it is an chemical change? Why? Because in this case there is an spoilage of food. Why it happens? Because of the growth of microorganisms which will produces the foul smell, and we will feel unpleasant, awkward to smell this type of food items. So here in this change, what we are observing here, not only the growth of microorganisms, we see that it also produces an foul smell, that is unpleasant smell. Now next case, as we had seen in the case of reaction of copper sulfate as well as iron, what do we had observed? There is a change in color, that is the blue color of copper sulfate solution changes to light color, light green in color, right children? Whereas in the case of iron, what is happening in this case also, we'll see that there is a brown deposit is formed on the iron nail. Do you know why it happens? These all changes. Why? Because there is a chemical reaction between the copper sulfate solution and the iron nail, which produces two new substances, that is iron sulfate as well as copper. So after forming a copper as well as iron sulfate, we are observing there is a change in colors also. Similarly, when you cut the apple, fruits or any other fruits or vegetables, when you keep it in longer time in air, what happens? It acquires a brown color. Why it happens, do you know? And what do we call for this change? It is a chemical change. Why we are considering it as a chemical change? Because it forms a new substances. Because of formation of new substances, it changes into brown color. See here what is happening means here the oxygen which is present in the air will react with an acid. As we studied that apple also contains an acid which leads to the formation of brown color. Similarly, when you cut the brinjal or potato, what will happen? It will turns into black on keeping in air for some time. Why it is happening? Because of chemical changes. Now here, not only there is a formation of new substances, there is a change in color also in case of chemical changes. Got it clear, children? Overall, we can say that in chemical changes, not only new products are formed, along with that, we can see that there is an evolution of heat, sound as well as gas, and it produces smell as well as it can changes the color of an substance also. Children, in the chapter 5, we have discussed about the process of neutralization. Can you tell me, is it a physical change or a chemical change? Let us observe it. What will happen in this case, and is it a chemical change or not? Let us see it. For this, we have to take a beaker where we have to fill 100 ml of water in it, and we have to take a tablespoon of baking soda and add it into the 100 ml of water and stir this baking soda until and unless the baking soda is dissolved. After it dissolved, we have to take 5 ml of vinegar in the other test tubes. With the help of dropper, you just take a small amount of vinegar from the test tube and drop it on the red litmus paper and blue litmus paper as shown in the video. What do you observe here? Here we see that when we are adding the vinegar to the red litmus or blue litmus, we see that in the case of blue litmus, it changes the blue litmus into an red. Now take the baking soda solution, that is which is present in the beaker, add it in the test tubes. What will happen? We observe that there is a formation of bubbles due to the evolution of carbon dioxide. Now here mix this solution, that is you have to stir this until no bubbles are left it out. Again test the solution which is present in the test tube with a red litmus paper and blue litmus paper. What we observe here, in the both the cases there is no change in color. That is, in the case of red litmus it remains red, and whereas in the case of blue litmus it remains the blue color. So what do we come to know here? The solution becomes neutral. Because of that there is no change in the color. But whereas in the first case, that is when you are taking a vinegar solution only, what is happening here? It turns the blue litmus to an red. Why? Because vinegar is in acidic in nature. Whereas in the second case, when we are adding a baking soda to the test tube solution, that is in the vinegar, what will happen? There is no change in the color because it has become an neutral in nature. So here there is a change in nature. So because of that we can consider it is an chemical change. Here in this case also we see that there is a formation of new substances. Because of that we can say clearly that neutralization reaction is also come under chemical changes. Children, you must have heard about the ozone layer. In our atmosphere it is present. What is the use of it? Very good. It protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation which come from the sun. Now how it happens? What happens during this case? And can we call this process as a chemical change? Yes. Here in this case the ozone absorbs these radiations and break down to an oxygen molecule. Here what we are observing here, we are seeing that there is a formation of new substances, that is oxygen molecules. So we can say that it is also an chemical change. And we have learned that the plants can prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis, right? Can we call this process as a chemical change, children? Yes, very good. We can call it as a chemical change. Why? Because in this case we'll see that there is a formation of a new substances, that is glucose as well as oxygen is released out. So here we can consider the process of photosynthesis also a chemical change. Whereas in the case of digestion process, digestion of food, what do we call it? Is a chemical change or a physical change? It is also a chemical change. Why? Because it involves the action of acids and enzymes on the food, which results in the formation of some new simpler substances having different chemical structures as well as properties. So we cannot get this back to in original forms. As we know, children, many of the objects in our surroundings like many bridges and ships are made up of irons, as well as you can see that where big trucks and many other articles, and as well as ships also, they are all made up of iron particles. After some time, if you keep it in the outer place, if you keep it for a longer time outside, what will happen? You will see that there is a formation of brown layer on these iron objects. Do you know what do we call these objects? Very good. It is known as rust. And this process, that is the formation of brown powdery material on the surface of these iron particles when they are exposed to the moist air, is known as rusting of irons. Remember, children, for rusting of iron objects, the two conditions are mandatory. Without it, the rusting of iron does not take place. Those are presence of an oxygen and presence of water or water vapor. Let us do an activity to understand it clearly. Take 3 test tubes and mark them as 1, 2 and 3. In the first test tube, place a calcium chloride where it will dry the air, and in the second test tube, take an hot boiled water and pour it in it, from which the dissolved oxygen has been completely driven out by boiling. Next thing is that you have to take a normal water. In the third test tube you have to pour normal water and keep aside it. Now what we have to do, you have to take 3 to 4 iron nails in each test tube and add it. After adding, then you have to cover the mouth of these test tubes and keep it for a while for 3 to 4 days without any disturbance and observe it. What you will see here, you will see that third test tube containing the iron particles get rusted, whereas in the case of first and second, iron particles will not get rusted. What is the reason here? Very good, children. In the first case, as we had added calcium chloride, here what it will do is here it will absorb all the air which is present, and there is an absence of water also. That is the reason we see that the iron particles has been not rusted. Whereas in the case of second, we had taken boiled water from which all the dissolved oxygen has been driven out. In this second case, there is a presence of water, but here absence of air, that is oxygen. Due to that, in the second test tube, the iron particles has been not rusted. Whereas in the case of third, they get rusted, because in this case there is a presence of moisture as well as air. So overall we can say that in case of rusting, two conditions are mandatory, that is the presence of oxygen as well as presence of water or water vapor, and this process can be represented as the following equation. Here, as we know that what is the symbol of iron, that is Fe, right? What is the symbol of oxygen, that is O2. What is the symbol of water, that is H2O. When these iron objects come in contact with oxygen, water or water vapor, it leads to the formation of and rust. Remember one thing, children, rust is not an iron, it is an iron oxide. What is the equation of this rusting process? That is Fe plus O2 plus H2O gives rise to Fe2O3, which is iron oxide. Now tell me, children, can we say that process of rusting is a chemical change or not? Yes, it is an chemical change. Why? Because here we are seeing that there is a formation of new substances, that is iron oxide. Imagine if the content of moisture in the air is more. What will happen here, children? Yes, if the moisture content in the air is more, automatically the rusting of iron particles will take faster, which may lead to a great loss. So how do we prevent this rusting? Can we prevent this rusting process? Yes, we can prevent the process of rusting, and it is only the chemical process which can be controlled. For example, as you can see by an painting. First method is that we can apply a coating of a paint, oil or a grease on the surfaces of any metallic objects. What will happen? It prevents its corrosion by not allowing the moist air to come in contact with the surface. This will be done in the railings as well as window grills, and even in the iron bridges. We can see that they will be apply a painting over it. Why? Because it prevents from not allowing the moist air to come in contact with the surface of an iron objects. Got it clear, children? After doing proper painting, what will happen? Iron objects will not come in contact with an air and moisture. So the rusting process will not take place. And the next method is by adding a layer of oil or a grease here in the bicycle chains or in the machine parts. We use this is because it lubricates and lowers down the rusting by coating it with the grease or an oil. And the third method is by galvanizing, which means coating iron objects with other metals. That is, in this process what they'll do, children, means here they'll deposit a thin layer of a zinc metal on the iron objects, and this method of depositing a thin layer of zinc metal on the iron objects is known as galvanization. Let us know about it by seeing a small video how it happens. In industries area, what they'll do means they'll collect all these iron objects, that is like iron pipes, iron sheets. What they'll do after collecting it, they will deposit in a molten zinc. That is, they'll dip all these metals, that is iron objects, they'll be dip in the molten zinc. As you can see here in the video, what they are doing here, children, here they are dipping in the molten zinc, as you can see clearly. What is here in this present means there is a presence of molten zinc. As you can see here, after the iron objects which has been galvanized, they will be removed out. So here, do you know why they'll dip in the zinc metals? That is why they'll be deposited or dipped in the molten zinc metals. Why? Because a thin layer of zinc metal formed on the surface of an iron object protect it from the rusting. Because the zinc metals remains unaffected by the air and moisture. So here, as the zinc is unaffected from the air and moisture, that is the reason the iron objects has been coated with the zinc metals. Now what they'll do after this coating means they will be allowed to cool. As you can see here, they'll be collecting in the large scale separated, and what they are doing here, they are dipping in the water, cool water, because in order to cool it, allow it to cool. Understand, children? And they'll be separated after dipping in the water. They'll remove it after it gets cooled out. And what do we call this process of depositing a thin layer of zinc metal on the iron objects? It is known as galvanization. Very good. Do you know, children, the iron pipes which we use in our daily life, that is in our homes to carry out water, are also being galvanized. Whereas in the case of iron sheets which are used for making the buckets as well as drums, dustbins and roof sheets, they will not get rusted. Why? Because all these objects have been galvanized. In our daily life, in the kitchens, we see that we'll be using different types of metals. Do we find any metals has been rusted? No. In this case, they'll undergo the process of alloying, where the iron is get converted into an stainless steel. Here, the molten iron is mixed with an fixed amount of carbon, manganese as well as chromium and nickel. On cooling, it forms an alloy called stainless steels. These stainless steels does not rust at all in the moist air. So that is the reason we'll see that all the cooking utensils have been not get rusted. Why? Because all these are all been made into an alloy, that is stainless steels. Children, in class of 6 we have learned that the salt can be obtained by the process of evaporation of seawater, right? Here the salt obtained in this manner is not an pure, and the shape of the crystals cannot be seen clearly. However, large crystals of pure substances can be formed from their solution, and this process is known as crystallization. Let us study about in detail by doing a small activity. So first we'll talk about what is mean by crystallization. As I said, the process of separating the pure substances in the form of crystals from its hot saturated solution by cooling it is called crystallization. Before that, let us talk about what is mean by crystals. Children, you might have observed your mother at home preparing a sugar syrup for making a sweet, right? What she'll do, she'll take a water and she'll add the sugars and they'll mix it and they'll heat it out. Now what you have to do means you have to take this solution and allow it to cool it for a longer time. What you'll see here, you will see that the fine particles of sugars separate from the syrup. As you can see here, there is a formation of fine particles, and these fine particles are called crystals, which have some definite geometric shape and are formed by the natural process. Got it clear, children? What is in the crystals? They have definite shape and which are formed by the natural process. Children, the process of crystallization is a chemical change or a physical change? It is a physical change. Now let us do an activity to understand how the process of crystallization will take place and why we are considering it as a physical change. For this activity, you have to take first that 100 ml of water in a beaker and heat it on the Bunsen burner as shown in the video. Next, you have to see that when water begins to boil, add about 2 ml of dilute sulfuric acid and then spoonful of copper sulfate solution. Stir this content with a glass rod as you can see here. Stir it continuously and add more impure copper sulfate until no more of it dissolves. Fasten a thread in the middle of a wooden stick and suspend in a glass as shown in the video. Now stop heating and pour the saturated copper sulfate solution in a glass. Place the glass aside and cover the beaker with a cardboard. Leave the setup for 24 hours. Next, after 24 hours, you will find a blue crystals of copper sulfate solution which is pure. Stick to the thread suspended in the glass rod. Since no new substance is formed, crystallization is an example of a physical change. Let us differentiate the differences between physical and chemical changes what we have learned till now. In case of physical change, it is an temporary, very good. Whereas in the case of chemical change, it is an permanent change. And we have learned that in case of physical change, there is a change only in the physical properties. No new substances are formed. Whereas in the case of chemical changes, new substances are formed which are entirely different in physical and chemical properties. Here in the case of physical change, we have learned that change can be reversed by simple physical methods. Whereas in the case of chemical change, can we reverse this? No, it cannot be reversed by an simple methods, right? Here in the case of physical changes, we had discussed that energy may not be released or absorbed. Here in this case, we seen that energy is released or absorbed during an chemical changes. And we had seen that in the case of physical changes, most of the time original form of the substance can be obtained easily by simple methods, and that is the reason we are considering it is also an reversible changes. Mostly we see that physical changes are reversible, and in the case of chemical changes, the original substances cannot be obtained by an simple methods. So that is the reason we can say that chemical changes are irreversible changes. Got it clear, children? Overall, in this module, we had learned clearly about chemical changes are very important in our day-to-day life, and we had learned that chemical changes are often accompanied by one or more characteristics, that is evolution of gas, change in color, smell, etc. Rusting of an iron object is an chemical change which can be prevented by various methods such as galvanization, alloying, etc. Along with that, we had discussed about crystallization, where it is a process of obtaining pure solid crystals having definite geometrical shapes, and this process of crystallization is considered to be an physical change. Thank you.